I started with my collaborating with Al-Farabi University since 2021 in the research area with some professor here in the mechanical departments. And I hope that I can continue my collaborating with this strong university. The key achievement for me during my visit period is about publishing the high research papers in the international journals and also about the analysis of publications in university in different fields and find the optimum solutions for increase the index for the department and the university. About the Al-Farabi University, I found here a very strong academic level for professors and for teachers, and find actually a very good research developments in different lines, for example, in the mathematics and in mechanics, and also in the mining in some specialties. And for me, most of my work in the area of solid mechanics, and also I work in the mathematics area for simulation, and also I work in the energy systems. There is some problem happened in some universities and our university. For example, if the paper accepted in the index journal and later the journal go out or exit from the Scopus. So this is very critical to select the journal. For this, our topic today is very important. Many of papers for our students go in this problem. Publish, accepted in Scopus after maybe 4 or 5 months, and then this exit from Scopus. Then you have to get a new result. The problem here, not the writing, you don't have new result anymore. The other point important, the review article. For us, what we made here, in our student, first we can just write about the problem, write about introduction, and write the literature review chapter. We just focus to make this like a review paper. It needs a lot of effort from the supervisor, actually. The student don't have a lot of information about the topic. For this, the supervisor can help the students to publish the first paper from the chapter 2. It's like a review paper. The later have time a little bit, because sometimes, you know, publishing at least sometimes more than 1 year. Sometimes 1.5 years. Long time. So we started with the review. For me, I work with this direction. I started with the review paper. There are 2 types of dissipative journals. Predatory journals, I want to give what's the difference, and hijacked journals. The first one is like take the paper, from researchers for the money and publish in the not good journals. I will give some example about this. I have this example, this journals, this index by Scopus, but after checked with the students, there is no real review. Just give simple comments and accept it, and they say ask for the money. For this now, this journal not recommend for the publication. It's indexed by Scopus, there is no problem, but not recommended for us, because we want also as a professors or a supervisor, we need some review to see what the weak points in our work, what the corrections needed. You can see the journals in Scopus, no problem, but from checking after publication for sometimes by students, we just noticed that there is no real, and we have like in our university, like website for checking the journals. It's updated time by time about experience from me, from other teachers, and sent notes. This journal not accepted anymore. It's still in Scopus, but for us not accepted because there's no real checking or review. The other example, hijacked it. For example, we have a real journal, Scopus, and everything's okay. But there are some people make a fake website. We hear about this. Copy, or maybe different, and then take the research or the papers from the students, from researchers, take money. But this is just only fake website. This is the journal Scopus, example, for biomedical science. We have, this is our update after some problems. We found this. This is the real website for the journal. And this is the fake one. So I recommend for any master or PhD to just consult with the supervisor about it, because the student is still new in this area. Must the supervisor give advice and discuss together about selection the journal, okay? There is other list called bill list. It's not official, but including a lot of journals, that predatory journals. For this, we can check the journals. If in this, then try to avoid not publish in these journals or publisher. I give example. Here, there's just write this or bill list, okay? And you go directly. I give example. For example, I want to publish in this journal, International Journal of Advanced and Applied Mathematics and Mechanics. I found here, so I must avoid it, because this after search, this list search for journals, just look for the money. Here, what the steps? For example, if I am students, what the steps I need to avoid these problems? I go directly to check firstly in the trusted website, Scopus of Science. This is the first step. This is website of Scopus. And here we have in the source four we can categories. The first one by area. For example, I can search for the mechanics, or by the title of the journal, or the publisher, or the publishing house, or ISSN number for the journal. Then I can find the details of these journals, okay? This is the first things. The other things, the reputation of publisher. The most important things here to avoid all this problem, we go directly to the most trusted publisher. For example, Springer or other publisher. So there are some publisher famous in the academic medium, like predatory, such as OMI, CS, WASET, academic journals. Oh, you have to avoid all of these, because all this is just predatory. Here, just important note, a suspicious publisher usually means a suspicious journals. I mean, if any publisher there is problem you think, then all journals is not good, because the publisher is the head, cover all the journals, and then meaning all the journal, it's not good and should be avoided. And this is information examine the peer review. This is usually not by students. This is by just notes from the supervisor. He have some experience, from previous work, from previous papers. Some journals have not good review, then should be avoided. Okay? Because we don't know all the journals. Check the journal website. For example, if you look for the website for the journal, it's not official, not professional, the English problem, then it's meaning this journal not high quality. Then make it quickly and not in a professional way. Check the whether of the journal in the blacklist. As I told, there is a bill list and there is stop predatory journal list. We have two lists. You can check the journal if exists or not. Examine article processing charge and the time also. All approximately the predatory journals, a very fast review, maybe give you 1 week or 2 weeks maximum, and give you high fees or low fees. Some of the new journals give for example, $100, $200, very cheap, but quick, and others may be expensive and very short. Then look for the price and the time. Look at the previously published articles. We look for the published article papers. What the quality, what the number. Usually there are some journals in Springer started, for example, with the 4 issues. In each issue, for example, 8 papers. And after time, when be in Scopus, they make in one issue maybe 100 papers or 200. A lot of papers increase, number of publication increase. Then meaning this should be avoided. Then they look only for the money. Okay? I think this point only for the professors, I think, yes, should be look for this point. Here also for supervisor, if you look sometimes in the field, most of ours know the most famous professors in the field, for example, in fluid mechanics or on solid mechanics. We know some names famous. We can look, and sometimes they use fake names we put in these websites for the predatory journals. So maybe if the supervisor look, maybe find some information useful for the student. Check the journal age. If very new, there is problem. For example, if give journal, say I have maybe 10 volumes, and then the website is very new, then there's some problem, okay? I will give example how we can find it. I give example for this journal. This is in Bulgaria. This is good journals. I know this, I don't know if you have information about the journal. Journal of Balkan Tribological Association. I have the website. There is website to check the age. Who's look up. Give all information about this website. For example, the name, registry domain, registry on, expires, updated. Then you can know the age of the website for this journal. Always we have for student and master student, come back to the supervisor. In Germany called Dr. Vater. Dr. Father must contact and consult with him because he have experience and he can guide us as students to find or to select the journals and also to correct the papers. I talk about this point, the high number. If publish a lot of papers, there is a problem in the papers. I just give information for the students. Always we hear about the impact factor. Right, students? You hear about this? For example, there is formula, simple formula to calculate impact factor. The impact factor is like a prestige for the journals. When it's high, it's meaning the journal very good. Reflect or high, very impact in the academic medium. For example, we have here, the Nature is very famous, I think for all. Here we have the formula. What the formula say? The impact factor equal citation for example, year 2025. Divide by publication for 2 years before. I give example. Citation for 2017 divided by publication 2016 and 15. Then we can say how the researcher cite from the publication for the last 2 years. We divided here 41.5, approximately 42. This is very high number, I think the highest in the world, okay? So when the journal high impact, this is good journals usually. Some of predatory journals give numbers but not real one. Say impact factor 10 or 5, but not real things. So you can check the impact factor from the Web of Science, okay? Not from Scopus. From the Scopus we have CiteScore. But from here, we can go to Web of Science to check the impact factor. There are some steps to select the journal. I will give very fast steps. Select journals. You have a plan for paper, how you think. You have to understand the publishing process. What's the process for publishing? You have to improve your skills using Word or LaTeX. For me, I'm sorry, my LaTeX not good last time, yes. LaTeX important, yes. Most of journals in Word, but there is some others use LaTeX. Improve skills, for example, using MATLAB, ANSYS, Abacus, or maybe take a plot for drawing some results. Should you have the engineering, must have tools, especially in the theory. Also an experiment. How writing, for example, how you submit your paper should answer the comment of reviewers, final checking, publish the research paper. This all steps important. Here, how to avoid if you have good results and you can go directly to the good publishers and you will forget all the problems with the predatory journals. If you go to Wiley or Springer or Sevier, Cambridge University, Taylor and Francis, SAGE Publishing, or ASME, this is very famous for mechanical, or SAE International, this is also in US. This is most famous publishers. If you go there, there is no problem. And also there is important point for any of these famous publishers, there is, here you can say, journal suggester. You will give just only your keywords or abstract or the title. And then he give you the suggest what the journal is suitable for your paper. And give details for the journal. For example, the time needed for publication, the cost, if open access or not. Many of these things you can select, only give your copy and paste your abstract or title here and look for the suitable journal. Also for Elsevier, the same things. Just give the abstract and then you can just click here to find the journal. There are other websites for searching journal. I don't know if you hear about it, SJR. But this have one problem. All data in this SJR is before 1 year. All the information. Because he wait to get the journal, the citation for last year, and then give the new data. Then all the information, but give you just idea what the journal in this area. For example, applied mechanics, in fluid, any field you can select, and you can select the country. For example, in Kazakhstan, you can select, give you. This is all subject area, but where in Kazakhstan? There are some, this is part of the journal, there are other journals. You can select country, the area, specific area. For example, here, engineering, mechanics. And for example, any country, in Europe or in Germany or any country, you can find the journals with the information, but the information for the last year, not current result. Also here by Scopus, we talk about the search by Scopus. This Web of Science, you can search also for the journal, the same thing. Here for the planning. Firstly, we have what the basic information or start the research. When you work, for example, in your PhD, you have to plan your work. For example, if you have experimental work, you have to know what exactly the data need to collect, what the sample, what the number of sample that you need. You have to design your work. Otherwise, you work and you don't know exactly what the time, what the direction you will go. So you have to understand your problem to select your data. This is important for your time. Sometimes the PhD needed 5 or 6 years because there is no good plan. What are the theories needed? For example, you have to know exactly what the theory that you need to learn. If, for example, numerical, maybe analytical solution, depend. Or maybe both experimental and what if experimental work, what the test trick that you need exist in the lab or not. It's important. Otherwise, if you don't have test trick, there is no result. The other things, what the dimension of the samples to complete your experimental work. It's important. There is one topic, I hope maybe in this time, to give about the design of experiment. How we'll distribute the samples, for example, the time for writing, presentation result, discussion. You have to time schedule for your work. Maybe delay. There is delay always in the PhD. Maybe you have, for example, you plan for 1 month, 1 year to finish something, but always there is sometimes due to the problems you will face. How many papers to publish? What the result? For example, if you have result, there is also important decision. If you have get good result, maybe you can separate in 2 papers, not in only 1 papers. Then should be have experience. Then consult with your supervisor. If you get maybe 1 paper, not enough, maybe for the final defense. So, and how to select or which journal you have to select. We talk about this. And here, what the steps for publishing. I will give you this flow chart. You can see it's simple, but in reality it's complex. When you finish your paper after checking, after a lot of hard work, you submit your paper to the journal. The first step in the editor. He was the first person to receive your paper. And as I told you before, the paper must be organized very good. The pictures, the result clear, everything. And you should give the abstract the novelty points. What the novelty points? Should be clear. If the editor convinced with the results with the paper, then we'll send to the review, select reviewer, and send. Otherwise, we'll just say no and reject the paper. If go to the reviewers will check the papers, read the papers. And mostly, yes, we have problem now, mostly use AI. Some reviewers use AI. Yes, give a lot of comments, maybe not in the, we can say, in the main point of the paper. Yes, you have such problem. And after this, after collection, there is two decisions. Maybe reject the paper or give some comments. Here I will give you what the answer from reviewers. We have, this is accept, I think this after a long time, not directly. There are minor revision, just a few points. And mostly we have this answer, I think all of researcher, major revision, a lot of questions and maybe new results, new figures, or reject. I think if the paper reject, it's also good. Why? Because we have some comments from reviewers to correct our paper. In my experience, when I was PhD, I want to publish a good paper. I took for around more than 1 year in ASME. The first time, it was rejected directly, without review. Yeah, the second time also, I improved, give some result. The third time, go to the review, but rejected. But give me some notes. In these notes, I just improved the papers. The fourth time, major revision, minor revision, and then accepted after more than 1.5 years. But experience, yes, experience. When there is a review, even it was reject, then you have some notes, some feedback. But if reject directly, then it's meaning you don't have such important, or maybe the editor not interesting with this topic. Sometimes you have good results, but the editor think this is out of scope. Yes, you have to search for other. And here I won't just give other hint about the writing. Figure and graphs, very important. Very important. You have to be careful about your results, how you describe your problem. It's very important. Maybe if we have time, maybe next year, I will show you some parts of my PhD. Sometimes I work on, also my colleague, not just me. We all, as a team, we work together to just give review and feedback for each other and review figures. We work some animations. It's important because attraction is important when publication. So the data should be presented in very good way. Data can be reused. If you have a reference, you take the data, you can use it, okay, in the correct way, and you have citation. Should be just make objectives contribution of the paper. Should be clear what's the contribution of this paper. Reporting the data. If you have most of submission now, ask about the data. Why? Some of researchers don't have data. Have they fake data? Then journals ask always, you have the raw, the real data or not? And sometimes ask you to give this, upload this data. And errors, if you have any errors or some mistakes, you have to give notes for the journals. Scientific papers. What the type of papers? The main papers that we just focus on it, there is original research paper. The paper that have new results, okay, and have the main topic, typical things. Most of data analysis may be experimental or theoretical. The second part or the second type is review paper that I talk about it. It's just a summarized paper, evaluate all previous work in this topic. For example, if you work for fluid wide range. For example, fluids in specific topic. And for example, in renewable energy for cooling. You have to search all technologies that use in this area. And then summarize what's limitations, advantages for each one, what's your suggestion for future. This is typically is difficult because you have very good knowledge about this area and then you can write this. For this, a student cannot write alone this type of paper. It's difficult. Then must the supervisor support him to write it. The third type, some journals also, Q1, write a short or brief paper or brief report, maybe 5 or 6 pages, with the new points or new result but short. Not all the paper, maybe 20 pages or 15 pages. Some, I publish one with the 5 or 6 pages, but new calculation, type of calculations. Then it's considered also Q1, right? There is no limitation for the number of papers in the requirement. For example, if I am a student, PhD student, publish one, Q1, 5 pages. It's okay?
Oh, it's great.
Okay, that's good. I thought you will say no.
It's the basic minimum which
Yes.
PhD students
Then
have
good.
to,
Yeah.
publish.
Yes. So not all paper is long. Maybe it's in the short paper, like this one, this type, brief paper or brief report, you can publish 2 Q1. But you have a new method for calculation for other things. Case study. Sometimes you have case study. For example, in one place you did for mining, for example, in Kazakhstan, you can, some journals accepted the case study, specific study result. Or some journals called accepted type of called technical paper. Give a new method or just develop method, not a new, okay? And give some improvement and some result. Also short, for technical papers, not so long. And there are the last type, conference paper, I think you know. You have just initial results and you publish your idea just in the short way. And some conferences very difficult. In ASME, there's every year conference or 2 years. Also difficult to accept, not easy. Select not all for presentation. Yes. But mostly now, just seek for the money or something like that, yes. Here the main sections for the typical paper. I will not go directly deep. I give just short because our lecture not for the writing paper. The abstract, we talk about it, should be very clear and you have to write what the new contribution, what the novelty. Introduction, you have just write or mention the most important literature last year's and what the new point of your work. If you have theoretical or experimental, you have to clear your theoretical or experimental. You have used, for example, flow charts, block diagrams, any things you have described your method. Result should be very clear and important things here for students. We have also, as professor, we face this. Most of students have no real discussion. Just write, for example, this increase with so percent and this decrease with the so percent, right? Mm-hmm. There's no physical meaning. This is the important things. Why this happened? What the reason behind this? What this physical process? This is important to understand. I think now you can use the ChatGPT to help you. Not to write for writing, okay? For writing, not acceptable. Why? Because now there are a lot of programs to check AI. And then, problem. If not clear today, maybe after 6 months will appear, yes. So you can use, maybe if there's time for professor, there's a new AI now in Google. It's very useful. You can make more description. I don't know. It's called Notebook LM. You hear about this?
Yes, you download the sources and they create a literature review with links to...
Make video also. Yes.
And audio podcasts, for example.
Podcasts, yes. I did this for the second lecture. I made the Russian. I'll send for you.